Hi everyone, it's Miss Brenner. I'm here to do your week 2 agenda for Science Fiction Online. I hope you are all doing well and staying happy and healthy. This agenda follows the same format as Agenda 1 for week 1 did. Just a couple things to go back over. In order to complete a week successfully, you have to do this first step, which is either to watch this video or to go through the slides of the agenda for the week. Step 2 then would be to complete all activities for the week, which would be your assignments that open at 10 a.m. on Monday each week and then close the following Monday at 8 a.m. That could be subject to change in the future, but as of right now, that is our plan. And if it should change, I will make sure to email every one of you. So once again, they open at 10 a.m. on Monday and close the following Monday at 8 a.m. Let's talk a little bit about grading policy. All grades will be recorded in Schoology and then transferred into Home Access. So you can check it in either place, but for the most accurate accumulative marking period grade, I would check Home Access just because the algorithm used tends to be a little bit more consistent. So students are required to complete weekly assignments in accordance with the Mannheim Central School District grading policy. And if you have any questions about that, you are welcome to email me or you can check the student handbook. Completed assignments will be recorded with the appropriate grade in the gradebook. Grades marked with a 0 are past the late period of completion. If you have any questions about your grades in the gradebook, please feel free to contact me. I try to upgrade or upload those grades frequently. So if you have any questions about any of these marks that I'm just about to talk about, please feel free to send me an email. Unsuccessfully completed assignments will be recorded in the gradebook as follows. So you might see an EX for excused, an NS for not submitted, an I for incomplete, or an NG for not graded yet. NG would most likely be used for like group projects or larger assignments like essays that I haven't gotten through everybody's. It might take me a little bit to read everyone's essay. So that's where you might see that. If you see any of these, such as the excused, the incomplete, or not submitted, and it's not a 0, you have some time to complete those assignments. Make sure you get in contact with me though, because the amount of time depends upon your personal needs and as well as your communication with me and the assignment type. So make sure to get a hold of me if you notice that you have any of those symbols in the gradebook. All right, so examples of the grading policy. Successful grades means that students are completing all of their weekly assignments every week and are doing a great job and are staying in contact with me. Student X, who would be doing said example, does that repeatedly for 9 weeks, and student X therefore gets a successful grade. A struggling grade would be like student Y, who only completes certain assignments, maybe 5 out of 6 here, 3 out of 6 there, isn't consistent with completing assignments or completing them on time. That would mean that they repeat that behavior for 9 weeks and receive a struggling grade. Or it could get worse and be like student Z, who only completes 2 out of 6 assignments for week 1 and consistently doesn't complete assignments to the point that there are 0s in the gradebook. That means that that behavior was repeated for 9 weeks and they received an unsuccessful grade for the marking period. Now we want to stay in communication and make sure that you get the best grade that you can and that you feel like you are being successful in this class. So make sure that you are completing your assignments every week and stay in touch with me if there are any issues. So our week expectations for week 2 are to talk about historical events and settings for the play, character background, and author's purpose. We're also going to be looking at the background of Shakespeare, elements of Shakespearean language, and mythology of some major characters that are going to be in our play that we're going to be reading about. Student goals and expectations. Students will be able to reference Shakespeare and his life, use the information of Hippolyta and Theseus to support their understanding of the play, and demonstrate elements of foreshadowing, which we'll get to towards the end of this week. So, essential questions. Who was William Shakespeare? Why are his plays and other pieces of literature still relevant today? And how do other stories find their way into Midsummer Night's Dream? So these are our expectations, goals, and essential questions for week 2. So on Schoology, you'll see that there's a week 2 folder that contains 6 different activity folders. Some of the folders may be combined because the activities take a little bit longer, so just keep that in mind. Activity 1 is a Shakespeare web quest, which is located split between the Activity 1 and Activity 2 folder, where the links can be found. For Activity 1, you need to complete the Shakespeare web quest parts 1 through 3, which should be linked in the Activity 1 folder. Now, you can complete Activities 1 and 2 at your leisure. Please don't feel like just because they're separated between 2 folders that you have to do them at separate times. All these different activities can be completed when it is convenient for you, as long as it is within week 2. So use the web links in the separate files for the Schoology folder for week 2 activities 1 and 2. The video is also linked in the activity 1 folder for activity 1 and 2, the Shakespeare in the Modern World video. All right, activity 2 is the continuation of Shakespeare's web quest. For activity 2, you are completing parts 4 through 5 of the web quest. The links are in the folders, and you are watching the video History of Shakespeare. The web link is also in the folder. If you have any issues with those links, please send me an email. The link might die at some point. I did upload fresh links over the summer, so just if something happens, get a hold of me. All right, activity 3 is Theseus and Hippolyta. We have some ed puzzles and articles to complete for activity 3. You will read the background about Hippolyta, who is one of our main characters in the play, and watch an ed puzzle video and complete the questions. You will also read the background for Theseus, who is also a main character in our play, and complete the ed puzzle and questions in order to get a thorough background on these characters. For activity 4, we're going to have a short discussion. You will have to do some extra research and have a creative outlook on the information that you've gathered from activity 3. Sorry, my alarm went off. All right, Theseus and Hippolyta discussion. Use elements of research completed in activity 3 to describe what you believe the offspring of Queen Hippolyta and King Theseus would be like. So if they were to have a child, what do you think that child would grow up to be like? Are you envisioning a prince or a princess? Would they take after their mother or father? What personality traits do you envision for this character? Where would they live, and what kingdom would they be preparing to rule? What skills would they have, physical, mental, or otherworldly, considering their parents' background? What language would they speak? What connections would they have with their parents and family? Would they even like their parents? I mean, based on the research, maybe not the best parents. Respond to at least one other student's discussion post reflecting on the similarities and differences between your created character and theirs. So every group of our online science fiction course should have at least one other student to discuss with. If there should be an issue with this, please get a hold of me. I will be contacting you to set up sharing pools, pretty much. If for some reason you do not have anybody else in your class, I promise you that you will have people to share with and people to discuss, regardless of the size of your class. Alrighty. Activity 5 is the foreshadowing notes that I hinted at the beginning of this video. So for foreshadowing, you're going to watch an ed puzzle that is on the notes hosted by me. And I'm going to walk you through what foreshadowing is, and you answer a couple questions, and I would personally write down a couple notes for yourself so that way you remember for in the future. Maybe you've already learned a good amount about foreshadowing, but we do use different key elements of authors' writing styles that affect foreshadowing in this course, and so the more that you remember the different stylings, the easier it is to talk about it in the future in complete discussions. And that is activity 5. Activity 6 is our silent reading. Every week we do 90 minutes of silent reading. You can split it up however you like, whatever is convenient for you, as long as you read for 90 minutes. Some people can't sit still that long, totally understandable. Other people find it extremely relaxing and would read for 90 minutes, no problem. However you want to split it apart. But once you have completed your 90 minutes, you are going to complete this discussion post about what elements of your reading can you relate to current events or social movements happening within our society. So, whatever elements of the story, whether it is fictional or non-fictional, maybe your characters are struggling with some personal events of their own and how you think that relates to some things that are happening in society, whether it be closer to home, something that's happening to you personally, or if it's something more broad, something that's happening on a national scale. You are then going to comment on one other student's discussion post about what they are reading. So as said before, if you are the only student in your class, don't worry. I'm going to make sure that you have like a pen pal of some sort that you can talk with. Alrighty, and those are all of our activities for this week. Let's talk a little bit about assignments and grades for week 2. So we have our Shakespeare Web Quest, which is 15 points, the Hippolyta Ed Puzzle, which is 3 points, Theseus Ed Puzzle, which is 3 points, Thesis and Hippolyta Discussion, which is 5 points, and Silent Reading Discussion Post, which is 5 points, coming out to a total of 31 points. Now, this is up for change should anything happen, or maybe we need extra support, but this is the intended grading schedule for the week. And if there should be any changes, you will be getting an email from me. If you have any other questions or any other concerns, please feel free to email me at any time. I have the regular Schoology email that you should be able to see at the top of our Schoology page. And I hope that you all have a wonderful week. I can't wait to hear from you and hear your discussions. Bye!